Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody is doing well today. I think I'm doing kind of okay. Gotta tell you, though, it's been a rough month. I'm not gonna lie about that. It has been a very rough month. It began with me getting really bad heartburn, like acid reflux kind of heartburn, and it was happening at the end of the day. Usually right around 7 o'clock at night it would start in, and it just felt like nothing had digested in my stomach. Here's this, gassy, burpy. I could feel everything churning around in there, and this horrid heartburn. So I got a hold of Dr. Lynn, and Dr. Lynn prescribed the medication that you use for acid reflux. And so I started using that along with the digestive enzymes before a meal. But from there, it didn't get much better. Actually, the only thing that made me feel any better was to go in and throw up. And so for about 3 days, that's what was going on. It just felt like nothing had digested for the whole entire day. And then I went and threw up, and it wasn't like when you're sick and you throw up. It was just like kind of emptying a bag. And then I'd feel okay because my stomach was empty again. And by the next morning, I was okay, and things kind of progressed as usual, but I knew that that wasn't right. And when I talked to Dr. Lynn, he said that he wanted me to get another CT scan. So in the meantime, I stopped doing everything. I stopped doing the RSO, I stopped CBD oil, I stopped taking all my vitamins, supplements. The only thing I take is vitamin E. That was a constant for years because that really helps my heart. And so I just kind of went down to the very basics. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm throwing up anyway, maybe I should have that candy bar. So for the first time in 2 years, I had a Rocky Road candy bar. I paid for that. And I also had a toasted cheese sandwich. And something, what else did I have that I haven't had for a long time? And of course, I got the terrible heartburn. And after considering the whole thing, it probably wasn't worth it, but I sure miss candy sometimes and sweets. Well, after about 3 days of this, I had lost way too much weight. I was starvingly hungry. And I went with Lou over to Vaughn's Market. We'd gone to the drugstore, and then he had to go to Vaughn's, and I went in there. And as you walk in the door, the deli is just right there. And so I could smell the chicken wings. They smelled so good, and I just stopped in front of that deli case, and the guy came right over, and I'm looking at these wings, and I look at Lou, and I said, God, those smell good. And he said, well, get some. And so the guy's like, well, how many do you want? So I got a half a dozen. And when I came home, I ate about 3 of the chicken wings because, like I said, I was starving. I hadn't basically eaten anything in 3 days. I was still going to the bathroom, so food still was going through, but very slowly. And but anyway, the chicken wings. And so after the 3 days, and I was able to eat the wings, and they stayed down. Meanwhile, Dr. Lynn wanted me to get a C scan. And he also wanted me to go to an oncologist, and he referred me to Dr. Christopher Ho. He said he was the best that he knew, and he laughed at me. He said, he is not going to try to get you to do chemo. He's not like that. And he's not going to say, like they did at Davis, that if you don't do chemo, we can't treat you here and you can't be our patient. He said he's a good guy, and so I want you to see him. So I made an appointment with Dr. Ho. So I start reading about probable causes of what is blocking my stomach, and I'm reading that it's very common with pancreatic cancer to have the tumor come up through your duodenum and block off the food. And I'm thinking, oh great, that's just what I need. So reading further, they can put a stent in, but the life of the stent is the best they had was a little bit over 2 years. The least they had was 119 days. So I figured, okay, this is it. I've got about 119 days. I've got about 3 months. And then that's going to be it. And I better start preparing for my end of life stuff. So I got the scan, and I had the appointment with Dr. Ho, and we went to his office. And here I'm thinking he's going to talk about stent, and no, he didn't. He couldn't see anything. He wanted me to get a CT scan with contrast. So I've got that scheduled too. He said he could read it better. And no, he doesn't push chemo, and he's very nice. And he said, what I want you to do though is get this pain management. He said, you need to get that under control. And he said, I'm going to send you to the best pain management guy I know. And so we got an appointment, and I will be seeing him this week too. But meantime, no, that wasn't what was going on inside of me, so maybe it had to be something else. So here I start thinking about the RSO. Hadn't had any RSO for like over a week. Food is starting to go through again. It's not sitting there and, giving me all these problems at night. But I'm eating very carefully, very carefully. And I got to thinking about the RSO, and it's so thick. It is so very thick. And I think, okay, for 2 years, I've been eating RSO, and where does it go? What is it doing? And does it just sit there for a long time? Maybe I had a kind of a glob in there that was kind of gumming up the works. I don't know. Meanwhile, this dear friend of mine, Judy, hooked me up with a guy in Southern California, further down towards San Diego than where we are. And he has a compassion lab, and bless his heart, he practically gives the stuff away. Their lab makes the RSO. He had cancer at one time, and he said he knows that it helps. It really works. And out of the goodness of his heart, he is doing this compassion lab. And so we got in touch with him. I got in touch with him and talked to him. And what a dear guy he is. Oh my gosh. His name is Bernardo, and he's doing this, it's called a Foundation of Love. And he's making a nonprofit fundraiser out of it. And he said they're applying for their 5C for their nonprofit. And I offered to put his information up, and he said not just quite yet, because right now they're making it and giving it away just as fast as they can. And they have to expand a little before he's really ready to go super public on it. But I did get some from him, and this is what it looks like. And looks just like the RSO I've been using. And then from a comment I made on one of the sites, a young man got a hold of me, and he said, you should really join the group CKC on Facebook. Like capital C, capital K, capital C on Facebook. And he said they offer a wealth of information on RSO. Here's a group, here's people that are actually using it and having fantastic results. And so I joined that group. So one of the first things I read is about carrier oils, and I realize I have been taking RSO wrong for the last 2 years. Now, Travis tried to tell me about carrier oils when I was up in Tacoma, and he said, how are you taking the RSO? And I said, I put it in a ginger capsule and take it that way. And he goes, oh, Mom, he says, that's really hard on your stomach. Ginger's hard on your stomach. He said, it needs a carrier oil to take it with. But, there was so much going on, and, I'm old and kind of vague, and so I didn't really get what he was talking about until I read it on the site. So what you do, you mix it. You mix the RSO with equal parts of olive oil. That's a good carrier oil. And then you put it into what is called an etroseric capsule, the kind that are coated, so that it goes down through your stomach into your large intestine or your small intestine, and that's where it dissolves, and that's where it does the most good for pancreatic cancer, because it's very close to your pancreas when it dissolves. And that's how I should have been doing it. I'll be doing it like that now. So see, remember when I started this, I was the only person I knew that was doing it, and Danny was helping me do it, but Danny didn't say anything about carrier oils either. So like I said, I've been pretty much winging this and doing this on my own for a while without much input. But my God, the things that I've learned on this site, it's just been a godsend, really. The site administrator on CKC had a list of herbs to take that are the very, very best for cancer. And one of the things that is super, super good for pancreatic cancer is black seed oil. I've read about it before, but until I read the whole report on the site, I ordered it. Another thing they recommended was this, Haritaki, and this is very good for getting natural toxins out of the system, and it reduces inflammation. And that's what's been happening with me, and the inflammation. Another thing very good for cancer, licorice. Ordered some of that. Another thing for cancer, golden seal. Ordered that. Another good thing for cancer, calendula. And so I got some of this too. I've been busy. The only thing I haven't received yet are the horsetail, getting horsetail, and the capsules. They haven't come yet. And they're different from a gel capsule. Gel capsule will dissolve in your stomach. The coated capsules go on through, and they're really not that expensive. I got all of this on Amazon. I was able to get everything on Amazon. So I was a busy girl ordering stuff off of Amazon. Meanwhile, I still haven't taken much of anything. I'm just my stomach is still not doing that well. But I'll be resuming the RSO taken in the proper manner when I get all the CT scans and everything out of the way. When I do that, I'm just giving everything a rest right now before I regroup and start the whole process over again, because my tumor has grown. It has grown 2 centimeters in 2 years, so that's 1 centimeter a year, but it hasn't spread, and that's the biggie right there. I was reading that what kills you with pancreatic cancer is when it spreads to your liver. Now, your pancreas can limp along, I guess, not not functioning very well for a long time. But when that cancer spreads to the liver, that's when everything just goes downhill from there. So I do believe the RSO has kept it contained. And even though it has grown, it has not spread. And I was thrilled when I heard that it's still all in one area. That to me is very heartening news. So I feel pretty good about all this. I'm going to be doing my new regime with the RSO, with my black seed, with with all my stuff. It's a new year. January, it started a new year, and I feel really good about this. I feel very, very good about this. I've got Dr. Lynn, who is just excellent. I've got Dr. Ho, who is excellent. I'm going to be having the pain management guy, really good. I actually feel at this time that I have some actual support from the medical field. I couldn't be happier about that. And one little last thing about UC Davis, thank you very much. The insurance, they needed at the scan place, they needed something from UC Davis about the other scans that I had. And that lovely UC Davis got back to them and said, we don't have any record of anything on her. So I'm going to tell you what I had to do to get that information over to Vanessa over at the radiology place. Go to the UC Davis My Chart, which is a total pain in the butt, to tell you the truth. And go into My Chart, pull up the results, take a photograph, print it out, and then send Vanessa an email including that photograph of my test results. I couldn't believe it. They tell her they have no records. It's thank you, UC Davis, you jerks. Sorry if I sounded a little bitter about that, but honest to God, why make it so difficult? Anyway, so I'm feeling good about all this. I am feeling good about all this. I think it was the RSO that was gumming up the works, but I'm ungumming now. I still have to watch what I eat. Good Lord, I still have the heartburn, but I feel good about all of this. I've got this wonderful site with a lot of information. I have these wonderful doctors. It rained. I will be having my 78th birthday here pretty soon. And so, I've lived another 2 years here. So I feel good about this. And I think on that note, I will say goodbye and thank you for watching. And I hope that I've been of help to somebody today. And it makes me feel good to know that people do watch my videos and that they are learning from them. It means a lot to me. It really, truly does. So goodbye for now and Happy New Year.